Imagine looking up at the night sky, but instead of seeing a beautiful blanket of countless stars, you see almost nothing, just a deep, dark, chilling emptiness. A giant hole where the universe should be. This isn't a story, it is a real place. Out there, in the deep dark, is a cosmic ghost town. It's not just the normal empty space between stars or galaxies. It is a huge, shocking region of almost perfect nothing. Scientists call this place the Great Nothing, and it's one of the biggest mysteries in all of space. This empty place has a name. It's called the Boötes Void. It is so big that it's hard to even picture. If you could travel at the speed of light, the fastest speed there is, it would still take you 330 million years just to cross from one side to the other. To understand how big that really is, picture our home, the Milky Way galaxy, with its hundreds of billions of stars. Now, imagine we placed our entire galaxy right in the middle of this giant void. We would be so alone that for all of human history, we would have looked up at the sky and thought we were the only galaxy in the entire universe. We would not have known any others existed until the 1960s. To see why this giant empty space is so weird, we first have to know what the universe is supposed to look like. The universe isn't just a random sprinkle of galaxies. It has a shape. It's built like a giant glowing spiderweb stretching across everything. This is called the cosmic web. Imagine you are flying in an airplane high above a country at night. You don't see lights scattered randomly everywhere. Instead, you see bright lines of light like highways connecting big glowing clumps of light like cities. That is exactly what the universe looks like on the very biggest scales. This cosmic web is the grand design of everything. It's the rule for how the universe is built. Galaxies aren't meant to be alone. They are meant to be connected as part of this beautiful, shining structure. The glowing web is normal. A giant dark hole in that web is not. The glowing threads of this web are called filaments. They are like cosmic highways or giant rivers of light made from thousands of galaxies all traveling together through space, held by an invisible force. And where these cosmic highways meet, you find the universe's biggest cities. These are called superclusters. They are huge, bright knots in the web, where thousands upon thousands of galaxies are all packed together in a brilliant cosmic metropolis. So, in the 1980s, some astronomers started a huge project. They wanted to make a map of this cosmic web. They pointed their powerful telescopes at the sky, expecting to find these glowing filaments and bright superclusters everywhere they looked. They pointed their telescopes in one direction, then another, finding the beautiful web just as they expected. But then they pointed them towards a part of the sky called the constellation Boötes. And they saw nothing. The thread was cut. The cosmic city was gone. They had found the edge of the great nothing. This was not a quick discovery. It was a slow, careful, and patient search. Imagine astronomers pointing their giant telescopes at a patch of sky, expecting to see a galaxy. They found nothing, just darkness. So they moved the telescope just a little bit, and they looked again. Still nothing. They did this over and over, night after night, for years. They were not just taking pictures of stars, they were making a map of emptiness. Each time they found a galaxy, they would carefully measure how far away it was. This helped them build a three-dimensional picture of the universe, like a giant cosmic connect-the-dots. But in one huge area, there were almost no dots to connect. When their map was finally finished, the result was stunning. They had found a hole in the universe, a vast, almost perfectly round region of space where there was next to nothing. This is the Boötes Void. It is 330 million light-years across. That number is so big, it's hard to picture. So, let's try this. If our entire Milky Way galaxy was the size of a marble, this empty void would be a bubble over 2 stories high. A giant ball of almost complete nothingness. But this giant empty space, it shouldn't exist. It created a huge puzzle for scientists. Our best ideas about how the universe started say that everything should be spread out much more evenly. There hasn't been enough time for gravity to clear out a space this big. The existence of the Boötes Void was a direct challenge to what we thought we knew. It was like finding a giant, perfectly circular desert in the middle of a rainforest. It just didn't make sense. How could it possibly have formed? To understand the puzzle, we have to look back at how the universe normally builds things. Right after the Big Bang, everything was like a smooth, hot soup of tiny particles, spread out everywhere. There were no stars or galaxies yet. Over time, gravity started to do its work. It's like a slow, patient cleaner pulling little bits of dust and gas together. Tiny clumps started to form, like dust bunnies gathering under a bed. These tiny clumps pulled in more stuff, getting bigger and bigger. Over billions of years, these clumps grew into the first stars. Then those stars gathered into galaxies, and those galaxies gathered into the huge superclusters we see today. This process created the cosmic web, with its bright threads of galaxies and its dark, empty spaces in between. But it did not explain how one of those empty spaces could become so impossibly huge. So how could a hole this big even form? The standard story didn't quite work. The answer was something new. It wasn't about something being destroyed. It was about bubbles. The leading idea is called the void merger theory. Imagine the early universe right after the Big Bang. It was like a sink full of tiny soap bubbles. Gravity was pulling matter together to make stars and galaxies. But at the same time, small empty bubbles or voids were also forming in the cosmic soup. Picture it. For billions of years, these little pockets of nothing drifted through space. They were like shy ghosts in the cosmic dark, and whenever they got close, they would bump into each other. They would touch, and they would merge. One by one, small voids joined to become bigger voids, and bigger voids joined to become giant voids. This process continued for an incredibly long time, until, eventually, many tiny bubbles had formed one single, gigantic bubble, a supervoid. This is how scientists believe the Boötes Void was born, and this is the most incredible part. As these smaller voids merged, their expanding edges acted like a cosmic snowplow. They pushed everything out of the way. All the gas, all the dust, and all the tiny baby galaxies that were trying to form. This cosmic push swept all that stuff into piles. It perfectly explains why the universe isn't smooth. The stuff of the cosmos was herded into long, thin walls and strings. These walls are the filaments of the cosmic web, and in between them are the great empty places like the Boötes Void. The existence of this great nothing reminds us that our place in the universe is special. We live in a busy galactic neighborhood. Our home, the Milky Way, sits on one of those bright filaments of the cosmic web. This cosmic address gives us a spectacular, star-filled view. If we lived inside the Boötes Void, our night sky would be almost perfectly black. We would have thought we were totally alone in the universe. We wouldn't have even known other galaxies existed until modern telescopes were built. But here's a final, wild thought. The Boötes Void isn't the only one. Our universe is filled with these empty regions, big and small. It's like a giant piece of cosmic Swiss cheese. The bright, busy parts are amazing, but the holes are just as important. These voids are not just empty space, they are cosmic fossils. They are ancient ghosts from the baby universe. They show us how everything we see today was built, one cosmic bubble and one cosmic push at a time.